Hey, beautiful event family. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, heart-filled week of family, friends, and lots of magic. I have had a very busy few weeks. Sorry I missed last week's share. Was actually backpacking, backcountry with my son, fully off grid along the South Fork of the Smith River. Is a magical time. The first time we've done that together. It was amazing and such a great break from the rigmarole of modern day technology, which seems to be constantly pulling us towards endless connections that don't really matter. Even I fall for it all the times. Gotta check Telegram, gotta check email, gotta check text messages. Well, that went all out the window on the trail, and it was really, really good. Highly recommend it if you guys are into being out in nature. I can't think of a better thing to do with multiple generations of people than go for a walk in the woods with a backpack strapped to your back and with a tent and all that good stuff, because you just feel like you can keep going forever if you're prepared. It's a really wonderful feeling, and it really allows you to get deep into parts of wilderness where you normally couldn't on a day hike, and really get immersed in probably how the world used to be, 100, 150 years ago, away from power lines, away from technology, away from the hustle and bustle of modern day life, even that you can't get at a campsite, right? It's really cool, and I'm kind of becoming addicted to it and looking to do it again this weekend with my other son. That being said, I also had the blessing to be booked to DJ a camp out a couple weeks back for Kelly Brogan's community and Vital Life Project. And what a great group that was. A lot of people there knew the event, which was great, and Alpha Vedic. And it's so cool to see all of these communities cross-pollinating and joining together. It was a lot of fun. And I got to DJ an ecstatic dance night, and that was really fun. I hadn't done that in a while, and while I wasn't totally on top of my game, I was a little rusty. It did bring back wonderful ideas about the nature of reality as social beings to me while I was playing. DJing is actually a great microcosm for the macrocosm of humanity in many ways. We are all orchestrating a dance floor in our interactions in our daily lives. And as a DJ, for those that don't know, I've been an underground house DJ and, just a professional DJ for over 20 years. I had a bit of a career doing the rave thing in college, and then that grew to doing club DJing for a living for a while in Santa Barbara and LA, where that's how I paid my bills, doing the night out, late night after late night thing every day for years on end. And it was a really great experience, but also I'm glad not to be doing that anymore. But that being said, being a DJ, while I'm not playing an instrument, I am playing a dance floor. And I am playing with essentially harmonies in terms of keeping a harmonious dance floor going, or keeping people on the dance floor and knowing how to read a dance floor is really a great skill set for life, because it's about putting yourself in other people's shoes and really sensing the vibe of others around you. And it's really not about so much the mental plane and thinking about what people want to hear and dance to. I mean, that is part of it, but really when I'm in the flow and I'm crushing it behind the decks and I've got the party hopping or I've got the people flowing, it's all coming from the heart. And I'm feeling it. It's like a resonance that's going back and forth. It's an amazing experience. And before I know it, I'm 2, 3, 4 tracks ahead of knowing what I'm going to play. And then I get giddy because I know the next one's going to take him to the next level, and it does. And that's what a great DJ can do, is programming on the fly, playing off the crowd. And that's what I love to do as a DJ. And that was what sets a DJ apart from, say, a music producer or somebody who goes and plays their predefined set. of their music where people are coming to hear that set. As a DJ, where I'm playing sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hour sets, I got to be orchestrating on the fly. And that's life. And that's what we're trying to do to the best of our ability every day, right? And I was just kind of having these thoughts as I was playing that night, and I'm really looking forward now to playing a lot more and jumping back into DJing. I'm going to start doing live streams, I don't know, once or twice a month, either on Alpha Vedic or maybe the events channel or on my own channel, and start doing that, as well as ecstatic dance nights. I just went out and scouted a spot today with my kids up in the mountains close by here. So we have a local Sovereign Bodies club kind of group here that has a Telegram channel, and we will be meeting and doing these kind of events. So I'm planning that out for this month. Ideally a full moon ecstatic dance event. I found a great spot up in the mountains. Very excited about it. And I even had a Bigfoot experience with my kids today. Pretty sure it was a Bigfoot when we were going through this really kind of overgrown section of a deep, dense forest. We had something hit our car really hard, and it was basically a chunk of wood that came out of nowhere and slammed against our car, very loud. So that was fun. But yeah, so very exciting. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit. Just a lot going on in my life, and I'm enjoying the journey for sure. And I hope you guys, what you can take out of this is, as you can see from my life, I'm just doing a lot of things and I'm having fun. I'm doing what inspires me creatively, artistically, and trying to do it in a way that's grounded towards service to my fellow men and women. So for instance, with this ecstatic dance night I'm just volunteering my time and bringing all my gear out, my generators and everything, as a way to, pitch in and bring people together. So if you got a skill set and you feel like it's a way to bring people together, we need that right now. So maybe think about that. And if you are in our neck of the woods, holler at me. We'd love to have you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will talk to you soon.
Hi friends, Tara here. I just jumped off my 6 a.m. morning thinking into results study session, and I was thinking about y'all. Well, first of all, I want to share that when you align yourself with everything that you desire, and when you start focusing your thought energy on what is working versus what's not working, when you start focusing your thought energy on all the good versus all the negativity, which we're more than aware there's a lot of not so good and negativity, but when you focus and get in the habit of looking for what's working, looking for the good, focusing on gratitude, being grateful, being thankful, it is just absolutely magical, almost miraculous how by law your life and results just gets better and better. Now, you might be listening to this and you might not be in a great space. You might be stuck. You might be riddled with negativity, trauma, disease, which is a body that is not at ease. And so when you're hearing me say this, it might activate something in you. Now, an older version of me can completely relate. An older version of me would have said the same thing because I was focused on all the negativity in my life. I was focusing on all the ways that people had hurt me, all the upsets, all the conflicts, the disease, literally disease, because, in the past, I've healed my body from cancer. Genetically and environmentally, I wasn't given the best program. We just call that program a paradigm. And so because of that, I was programmed to focus on what I didn't want. And I was stuck in a really bad way. Hence, why my body, because I'm also a body talk practitioner, why my body was talking to me in a loud way and manifested cancer, brought the disease, because the body is an instrument to the mind, right? So that older version of me would have said, shove it. Wouldn't even been probably open to listening to this at that time. And I get it. I mean, there's variations in the frequency of our consciousness and the vibration of our consciousness. But if you're open to listening to this, I want to share with you a process, an opportunity to maybe start thinking, to maybe start leaning into faith, building your faith, and getting better results. Now, when we're stuck in this place where we're not getting the results we want and we're not feeling very good, and we're focused on all that doom and gloom, and if you dive into the mind and start to understand the mind, even Napoleon Hill talks a lot about this in the classic Think and Grow Rich, that the way that the subconscious mind works is that it just takes the negative and runs with it. So we have to, and we get to, program ourselves for what we want versus the negativity just gets dumped in. That's why if you start studying with any incredible mentor, first thing they're probably going to tell you, if they're really good at what they do, is stop paying attention to all the negative. Stop watching all the negative news and media, because we're addicted to it. And by law, what we focus on grows. So we don't want to focus on the negativity. We want to start focusing on the solution. And Alec had a really great share last week. If you didn't listen to last week's journey share, Alec had a really wonderful share around this that you could revisit, because we have to start focusing on the solutions. Oh, or it might have been the week before. I don't know. Listen to all the journeys. They're great. So if we want to get better results, it's really quite simple and profound. We have to start focusing on what we want. We have to start thinking and aligning our thought frequency, thoughts or things, on what we want to grow. Now, I've shared around this in past podcasts here, that you first got to decide, what do you want? Many of us know what we don't want. That's great. You know what you don't want. You know what doesn't work. You know what failure looks like. Okay, great. What do you want instead of what is currently showing up, your current results? What is your bigger goal? What is your bigger dream? If I was a magic genie and I said, tell me what you want, I'll make all your wishes and dreams come true, this is where you get to exercise your higher mental faculty, the higher side of your nature, and use your imagination, which we shut off in grade 1. We stop imagining and creating. So what do you want? Second step is now you got to close the gap. You got to close the gap between what you know and what you do. We all know that we should be doing better. We all know that we have certain habits and addictions and patterns, thought energy that is not moving us towards what we want, but it's moving us towards what we don't want. So you got to close that gap. You got to take action. My mentor, Bob, he would always say, pray and move your feet. Because you got to do something. You got to take action. And the next step, a paradigm is just a multitude of habits. Again, we just act out of that subconscious part of ourself without even thinking, right? We're just acting out of habit. That's a genetic and environmental programming. We're not even thinking. So you got to take a look at, and honestly, reflect on all the negative results that you don't want. What are those negative results that are holding you back from your goals and your dreams? And you've got to just make a decision that you're not going to focus on that anymore. Maybe even that you're in a space to lovingly maybe forgive And also recognize that all of that helped you get to where you are, but that your awareness and where you're going is not going to be that anymore. That you are now going to create some positive, successful prosperity results moving forward. And write down what that looks like. So how would your habits change? How would your self-image change? How would your thought energy, how would that have to go to a higher frequency and align? Because you have to become the match for what you want. You have to get on the frequency of what you want. And if you can start doing this, and there's only 2 ways that we change our current programming and patterning, which is going to seem absolutely illogic. You want to do the illogic. Your current paradigms, your current programming does not want to do the illogic. It wants to stay in comfort and complacency. You have to do the illogic. The only way we change our results, the only way we change our programming, that paradigm, is through spaced repetition. It's what we do every single day. We can't miss a day. We have to do it every day. We have to be relentless, as Robin Sharma would say. You have to be absolutely persistent and committed. No excuses. No 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in. You got to say, I'm all in. And you got to do what it's going to take. And yes, it's going to take a little bit more than just doing your best. Initially, you just do your best, but then you go, okay, I got to put a little bit more. I got to put a little bit more into this because my paradigm is so nasty and stubborn. It doesn't want to change. It's going to tell me all sorts of stories. It's going to lie. It's going to find other people. It's going to find excuses and procrastination so that it can just stay stuck. This is the difference between victim consciousness and the victor consciousness, the prosperity consciousness. So we've got to do the illogic every day. You got to be getting uncomfortable every day. You got to be focusing on what you want. You got to be closing that gap and taking action. You've got to recognize when there are negative patterns, habits, addictions, conditioning, stories, all of that. Even people that you surround yourself with. You've got to take an honest look at what are those negative results. And if you're going to reach your goals and dreams, what are you absolutely committed to doing from this point on? What are the positive results? What are the positive results? And through repetition, you got to focus your mind on this every single day. You miss a day, you got to start back over at day 1. Now your mind is going to say, that's stupid. It's not going to work. It's going to be hard. How do I do this? Well, that's your paradigm talking. You got to be stronger than your paradigm. You got to do the illogic, and you got to take action. You got to probably find a good coach, a mentor, credible knowledge and material so that you can get the wisdom that you need. And you've got to take action every day. And I can tell you right now that prosperity is just not for the privileged few. Prosperity, which includes everything, your health, wealth, your happiness, is for you as well. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Make it a great day.
Oh, hey everybody, Dr. Devin. I just had the most magical and inspiring lunch break with my kids, which, put the ball on the tee to now record and send this message out to all of you. I want to talk about our future generations for just a second here. A friend of mine and I were having coffee and discussing the daunting question of what type of world are we going to leave our kids? Right? And that feels big, right? To want to change the world to hand off to the generation next, right? We all know, none of this started with us, and it certainly isn't going to end with us, right? We are just but a chapter in humanity's story. And yet, it's a shit show, right? For lack of a better way to put it. I don't want to give this mess to my kids. And so it's like, man, I got to change the world before I pass it off to my kids and grandkids. Well, that felt big and it was eating me up. And so one day we're having coffee and she shared that her mentor flipped that concept directly on its head. And instead of saying, what type of world am I going to leave my kids? We posed the question instead, what type of kids will I leave this world? Sit with that for a second, because that one hits me right in the heart. I am in the heat. I am in the thick of motherhood. I have twin 5-year-olds. They're getting ready to turn 6 here in about a month. I have twin 11-year-olds, and I have a young man who is 17 going on 18 to his senior year. And I can't change the world for them. It's not mine. It's out of my spiritual pay grade. Now, I can make efforts to make it a better place, but it is big. But what kind of kids can I leave this world? Hopeful ones, optimistic ones, empowered ones, strong ones, courageous ones, brave ones, vibrantly healthy ones. That I can do something about with every food choice I put on the dinner table, with every conversation that I share with them, with every tool that we discuss when we homeschool and unschool, which I want to open up a little bit because I had a lot of fear around bringing them home. Like when COVID happened and they started masking the kids, is like no brainer. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. Go ahead and come home. Great gift. And then last year I switched school districts and I put them back into public school. It was from a small town. It's the grade school I went to. I know everybody there, and it wasn't that anything was wrong. It just felt like a step backwards because we had moved out of the box. God had gifted us this opportunity to bring them home. And then I tried to re-enter the matrix and it didn't fit. So I brought them back home at this last Christmas break. And it's been amazing and it's been hard, right? And it's not hard because the schooling part is hard. It's hard because I have to unwind and unlearn the programming that was given to me. And so this week I do want to share a few links that you can check in the comments that, are a couple of books that were really great for me. I know in the event we had Dr. Edith and Charles Eisenstein. Definitely go back and watch that. Check out what Dr. Edith is doing. She's a magical, luminous human being. It's not like they're already open. They're already tapped and tuned in. They come into this world as tapped into the light as you can be. It's the matrix, the programming, quotes around all of that gets a hold of their light and starts to siphon it, right? So our job is not really even to teach them. It's to preserve the light. It's to optimize the light. It's to keep them curious. It's to feed that wild and free thing that is innately born into them. And that's fun. So today I got to, pause between shifts in my chiropractic office, and we're still, doing some lessons through the summer because I want them to enjoy learning and reading and finding themselves. And so, we got a puppy actually. And so this morning's homeschool quote project is around puppy training. So I come home and they're teaching me all these things that they went and learned and showing me, training this new silver lab puppy. And it was just awesome. And then one of them said, Mom, I'm feeling kind of out of whack. Can you adjust me? Which then became a whole family. So I adjusted my husband and I adjusted all my kids. And we're all just sharing about how our day is going. And I'm like, wow, I am the most blessed woman because I get to go serve in my practice. I get to come home and adjust my family. I get to see the light and the curiosity and the zest for life inside of their eyes and in their voices. They're telling me all this, life is so good. And so, yeah, the world's crazy. And to be one of those people that audaciously wants to change the world, what if we flip it, right? Not what kind of world will I give them, but what type of children will I hand this world? And I think we're on the right path. And today I celebrate that with a very, very full heart of gratitude. I love you. I hope this finds you well. And bravely onward we all go, huh?